Wake Up Call DT. Happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, where sports meets that thing called life right here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as I stated, as well as on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage, and of course on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt and facebook.com/livenowdt and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So a lot of fantastic places to listen in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, and I appreciate you all so very much for being a part of the show. You know that it's Wednesday, which means it is officially Dolphin time on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. The Moyne Dolphins joining us in our multimedia marketing partnership and giving us an opportunity to share with you the incredible stories of Moyne College student athletes, coaches, and faculty every single month. And every first and third Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, we feature my conversations with Bob Beretta called AD and DT for Athletics Director Bob Beretta at Moyne and myself, Dan Tortora, with a new topic every episode. And every second and fourth Wednesday with the Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes, faculty, student athletes, I should say, coaches and staff members, saying why they chose Moyne, what Moyne means to them, and discussing their overall journey. So very excited to be able to share those stories with you every month and to have Dolphin Time set it every single Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So with today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we're bringing you AD and DT, our newest episode of my conversations with Athletics Director Bob Beretta, speaking on the school's unique initiatives to bond both the student body and the faculty to the athletic department. We'll talk about that right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Cafe Kubal here with you on 3501 James Street, 208 North Townsend Street, as well as 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, New York, and inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital in downtown Syracuse, and on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York, and the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road in North Syracuse at Sweetheart Corners in their first ever drive-through location. And now, Cafe Kubal coffee being served at PB&J's Lunchbox. Fantastic food now with awesome coffee at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. So, with that being said, we'll take a quick step aside for a fast break. When we spin back around Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we'll be bringing you our newest episode of AD and DT, featuring Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora, speaking on something really incredible that Moyne is doing, where the student athlete side of things, the coaches side of things, the athletic program side of things is bonding with the student body as a whole and the faculty, bringing student and athlete truly together, bonding the overall student body and the faculty with what's going on in athletics, truly making the community a lot closer, a lot deeper, and a lot more exciting things happening on the heights at Moyne. We'll talk about that right after this fast break on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora from inside the Cafe Kubal studios. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also, I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was, selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Dan Tortora, DT, here with you every first and third Wednesday of each month inside of our Lemoyne Multimedia. Each episode we get to talk about something fun and exciting, but before we do that, we need today to speak on some new initiatives that you've been working on and some faculty and student-centric things that we get to do here that are really taking Lemoyne Athletics and connecting the student body in a special way, and at the same time bringing school and athletic programs together through the faculty side. So I'd love to start with wherever you'd like to go with this.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. We're really excited about these initiatives. We wanted to, first of all, engage the talent on this campus. I knew there would be a great deal of talent when I arrived here in areas that we probably had areas of need. And we have a thin staff in terms of numbers, not in terms of talent, but certainly in terms of numbers. So we needed to be very innovative and creative in trying to utilize our resources in the best manner possible. So we were able to build, in essence, 2 student staffs, numbering about 16 students that help us now in the athletic department. One staff is dedicated to creative services, so that's design, video. We put up a billboard right down the street, and they designed the billboard for us, and schedule cards, and a host of different things. And then the other student staff is our marketing promotion staff. We have 8 students there that help us with in-game promotions at basketball games, and help us in the spring with lacrosse games, help us drive some promotions and initiatives to try to help bring people to the games. We figured who better to tap into the brain power than the students of what students are thinking and what would motivate them to come out to Ted Grant Court and support our basketball team. So we're really excited about both of those initiatives. It's collaboration across campus. It's working very closely with the leadership here on the faculty side of things. Matt Reed in the communications department was integral in helping us arranged some students to start the Creative Services Division, and Professor Margie Erlin has been very helpful on the marketing side to help us attract a great stable of talented young people to help us on the marketing promotion side. So it's really a true collaboration between the faculty here at Lemoyne and the athletic department.
You know, you bring up so many different things with that in the sense of, I mean, it's beautiful because I've worked almost 20 years in the world of sports, and to do that here at 18 years, as we're talking right now, seeing everything that I've seen, I have not seen an athletic department reach out to its student body, not just its student athletes, but its student body as a whole, the way that you have, and to the faculty and say, hey, you know, we want you to be a part of this. We want you to know them. We want them to know you, because there are a lot of universities and colleges that function where here's athletics, here's academia, and they're not together, which is ironic because a student athlete is both, yet they're put over here and everything else is over there. Since you've come in, you really tried to unify this entire campus, and I think that's important to talk about.
Yes, thanks, Dave. It was an initiative. It was a goal of mine when I talked to the folks here at Lemoyne during the interview process a year ago. Right now, last November, I talked about the need to try to collaborate and bring the two aspects of a university together. That our number one priority will always be, without fail, to support the educational mission of the institution. And that's not just words. That's how I feel, and I think any school that is aligned properly, that's their number one priority. So that will always be mindful for us. Any initiative, anything step that we take to advance our program, it will be in a mind to help advance the mission, the academic mission of the institution. That's number one. And number two, I really want to build relationships. You know, I think athletics is a relationship field, and I think it's so important when you're on a campus like Lemoyne that you have really tight and strong relationships with your faculty members. And the other, one of our other initiatives is our Faculty Athletic Affiliates program that we just launched here in the last several weeks, and working with Dr. Sean Ward, our faculty athletic rep, and our new provost, Jim Hannon, has been integral in this operation, and Travis Newton, our faculty senate chair. I wanted to model something like we had at West Point. We have something at West Point called an officer representative program, and every athletic program has a senior military officer assigned to that team, and then a staff underneath that head officer representative to help serve as mentors, advisors, tutors, guides travel with the teams. So I felt it was really important to try to model something similarly here at Lemoyne, or to me, I thought it should be a model on a national basis where you assign a faculty member with each team. And that's what we've done here. And we have faculty now. We have 9 faculty members that volunteered, so we'll have a faculty member assigned to every one of our winter teams and every one of our spring teams as we move forward. And it's about building those relationships. It's about showing the connectivity between academia and athletics. It's about creating ambassadors across campus for the athletic department. And it's also about our athletes seeing the other side of faculty as well and understanding their time demands and what goes into being a faculty member. So I think it's a win-win. It's something that we're really excited about, and I think it'll continue to evolve and grow over time here at Lemoyne.
What are the duties and responsibilities of the faculty members that are assigned to each team?
It's really open-ended, Dan. At West Point, it was they were an administrative piece for us when they were on the road. It was really to represent the military, and those individuals would sit on our team benches. They would be in our dugouts. They're on the sidelines. So they're there for a perception standpoint, but more importantly, they're there as sort of mentors and advisors for our cadet athletes at West Point, for their cadet athletes when they have questions about their future career path or their current academic model. I wanted to set up something very similar here, but leave it a little bit more open-ended and allow each faculty member to kind of build that relationship and take it where they want to go. They're invited to go to practice every day. If they want to sit on the team bench or on the sidelines, or they're welcome to do that. It's really not a defined job description, if you will. There is a general job description, and it's the things that we've just spoken about. But in terms of the specificity of it, because there is this independent piece where every faculty member may have a different job description that might preclude people from being able to participate. The main goal, though, is for them to be present, for them to serve as advisors, if a tutor if it's in their area of expertise, or if not, maybe the ability to connect with someone else on the faculty academically in a class. So it's all those types of things. It's really open-ended, and I'm hoping that as certain faculty members right now that are in the program, they'll build this program, they'll evolve, and then we hope that it'll attract others on campus as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to have such an avenue. I mean, if I was a professor and they said, hey, we're going to assign you to whatever it may be, but, if they said, hey, if you came to me and said men's basketball or women's basketball, and I played basketball my whole life, to have the opportunity to do something like that and say, okay, I'm not playing, I'm not a coach, but I get to be a part of this team, I would be the one going to every practice. But I think the great thing about it is you get as much out of it as you want to get out of it.
That's exactly right.
And so I'm sure that you'll have, faculty that will really jump in, and then you'll have faculty that may feel like, hey, I don't have time for this, I can't do this, and then maybe they see somebody else and say, oh, you got something from this, you pulled something away from that. And, I think creating the bridge, what I've learned in life is that everybody has to take personal responsibility. You can make the bridge, you can't force them to cross it, but you're making the bridge. Because if you didn't make the bridge, why would someone come down from teaching a science class and walk into practice? So now the bridge is there, and now you're hoping that people will go back and forth on it.
Yeah, it's a great analogy, Dan, and it goes back to even this fall. We had a barbecue, a faculty barbecue with all of our head coaches and our staff members, and I invited all the faculty from around campus to join in that day. Yeah. And again, to try to build that bridge and really to develop relationships. It was an opportunity for me as a new staff member, as the athletic director here, to get to meet a number of our faculty. But it also, I wanted to send a message that it's all about one team, one fight, and we want to be a great partner across campus, not just siloed down here in the athletic world, that we want to be present, we want to be visible, we want to be tremendous partners, and we want to collaborate as much as possible, all with a singular mindset, with that singular goal of advancing the mission of the college.
And for the student side of the initiative, saying that you have about 16 students working with you right now, what have they done to elevate what you're working to do?
Yeah, that's a great word, and we talk about that all the time, elevate, and they've been instrumental in our ability to tell the stories of our student athletes. I think that is my biggest focus. Was we have tremendous stories on this campus, and we have limited resources by which to help tell those stories. So it's everything from our social media platform, designs, graphics, to telling those stories. So we have a new initiative that I'm really proud of. It's called Scaling the Heights, and it runs bi-monthly right now, so twice a month, and it's a completely student-generated initiative. We have these are long feature stories, and they focus on the student athlete doing great things, both on their court or on their playing field or their field of choice, and then in their other side of their life. We did a story on Lexi Petritis, who I know you featured earlier this year, who's a volleyball player and a nurse. We just did a story on Brianna Rett, who, great story. Her sister tragically killed in an accident. She was a rower at Holy Cross in a fellow Jesuit institution. And Brianna, her younger sister, is a freshman here at Lemoyne, and they had this tremendous fundraising initiative going on to build a gym in her sister's name. And we told that story. But the stories are written for the most part by students. The Brianna Rett story was written by one of our staff members, but we have student writers, we have student photographers, we have a student who lays out and designs the format, because we have a special format that we put it in. So I'm really proud about that Scaling the Heights feature for us. And it's telling the stories. We have a billboard that we put up right down the road here to trumpet our basketball home games, and the designs developed by a student. All of our billboard designs. We put schedule cards out for our basketball team. Again, the design, the layout, all the work done by students. We meet weekly. We talk about different initiatives. We ask for volunteers because I don't feel comfortable assigning work to students that already have heavy workloads.
Yeah.
And then whoever can, raise their hand and say they can take that on that week, they take on that responsibility that week. And it's the same thing with the marketing and promotions team. We have a group of 8, and we're hoping to have 2 or 3 that work every single basketball game and help us operate our in-game promotions. And then we have brainstorming sessions, right, where we ideate and come up with theories and ideas and thoughts on things that might work to help generate interest and attendance at our games.
Yeah, and all this is taking a community, making it smaller, bringing it closer together, and improving the experience. Because I know, when you're growing up and you're learning and you want to gain as much as you possibly can, to have these opportunities with these student initiatives, this is something that's going to pay off dividends for them, because they're going to be able to put it on a resume. They're going to be able to go to a business and say, I've already done these things. I got asked a question before, like, do you know how to edit? I was like, I know how to do 9 different things plus editing. And so to have that, on the student side is such a beautiful part. And then for the faculty, it's to really expand their reach and expand their connection, because maybe this is, maybe some of these student athletes are their students, maybe they're not. And so I think what it's really doing is it's making Lemoyne's community smaller while building the brand of Lemoyne. So you're making something smaller while making something bigger, and all at the same time really just improving the life of each of us here walking around this campus. And I think that goes such a long way, because like you said about the students, like you said about the faculty, you take as much as you want on, you do as much as you feel comfortable doing. So it's really on you to do it. But if you do, as I've learned in life, when you take this stuff on and you do challenge yourself, the relationships you build beyond everything else can last forever.
No question about it. And we have to be creative here. We have limited resources. So on top of all the great things you just stated, selfishly, we're gaining great content.
Yeah.
Right? We're our students are generating tremendous content. They're working events for us, so we're not in a situation where we're either shorthanded or have to go out and look for outside help. There's this feeling of ownership, as you mentioned, feeling of community. So for us, it was really an innovative approach to problem solving, looking at things through a different lens, and I've been really pleased with our results so far. I think it's a win-win, and solely on the content that's been generated, I think it's been a tremendous asset to the athletic department. Not to even talk about the relationships and the secondary effects that you're going to have by having involvement from a whole different group of students that might not have had ties to athletics before, but now have this great ownership. And when they leave Lemoyne, you hope that that's just one other reason that they're going to stay connected to their alma mater.
Yeah, just people helping people.
That's what it's all about.
So with that being said, for these new initiatives that we have here at Lemoyne College, brought to you in the era of Bob Beretta and all the work that you've done since you've come here, we appreciate everything that we've seen from the athletic department. We want to thank Bob, want to thank Linda Lemira, and everyone at Lemoyne College, including the students, the faculty, and the student athletes. Bob, as always, fins up.
Fins up. Have a great day, Dan.
Appreciate it. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday Monday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on wakeupcalldt.com, your one-stop sports shop, and on mixlr.com/wakeupcalldt, as well as on facebook.com/wakeupcalldt, and on facebook.com/livenowdt, and on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. So however you're connected with the show, thank you so much for being a part of this broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Cubal studios. I'm honored and I'm privileged to have my next guest here on the show, and she is no stranger to the broadcast, yet it's been a while since we got to have a conversation here recently, so she's been greatly missed, and I'm happy to have her here, and that is Miss Gabby Holko, the Susquehanna Riverhawks women's basketball head coach, and a terrific human being in and of itself. So with that being said, Gabby's back here on the show. We met when she was at Marywood University. She moved on to Susquehanna, has had tremendous success in her career as a head coach. And for what she's done up to this point, I'm ecstatic, and I've told her this before, of what she's going to do. So with that being said, let's bring her in. Gabby, how are we doing today?
Hi, Dan. Good morning. Thanks for having me. It's been, as you just said, way too long since we've been able to chat. I mean, both lives super busy, but I'm super fortunate that we were able to kind of get on here today and just kind of chop shop a little bit.
Yeah, we have the opportunity to do it on my grandma's Remembrance Day, G-Mama's 105th heavenly birthday. She lived to be almost 101 here, so, having her, have a special connection to today was only fitting that somebody that I care about so much and having someone on the air that I care about so very much as well. So I'm happy that I get to celebrate her birthday with you.
Absolutely. Likewise. I'm super excited to be able to be here celebrating her as well with you.
So Gabby Holko here with us. Gabby, for you, it's been an interesting 19 months for all of us. It's been crazy. It's been trying. It's been stressful. It's brought out mental health at the forefront. It's brought out community at the forefront. It's brought out, trust and how do we handle things? How do we work together? How do we not work together? What has the, almost 2 years that we've been through taught you about yourself and about expectations?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I know we were talking a little bit before we hopped on here, but I think that this last 19 months has been super stressful. It's been super, but also on that other hand, it's been grateful. We've been able to spend a little bit more time with family than we wouldn't have hoped for, especially basketball coaches being us that did not have a season last year. I mean, we just had so much time to kind of figure out what else we could do and what other hobbies we can kind of figure out. And that's something I think I would say that I really was able to do. I picked up reading again, and I was able to kind of get a grip on some new reading material, and then really just spending time with family. I wasn't able to go to Pittsburgh to see my immediate family, my mom, my brothers, my dad, but I was able to kind of be at home, hunker down a little bit, and we were able to recruit a lot. I mean, that was something that even though we weren't able to get in the gym with a bunch of these kids, we were able to watch them live stream. We were able to really build relationships with these kids, communicate through text, phone calls, Zoom. I'm somebody that I'm over Zoom right now because we've done so much of it. But I think that it's definitely showed how we can kind of be different with our recruiting approach and how we can sell Susquehanna University during a pandemic, which hopefully we never have to go through again. And hopefully we're kind of going to figure this out and get through it and get back to some type of normalcy. But I think a big thing for me that I really learned during the pandemic was just you have to be grateful for every single day, because there were a lot of people that have lost their lives to COVID-19 and just other things. I mean, with the uptake in COVID patients taking beds in hospitals, I mean, a lot of people weren't able to get their normal doctor's appointments in, and cancer wasn't being able to be found early. And I think just being grateful every single day and knowing that each day is not promised. And I think that's something that we really hammered home with our girls. We only had about 10 girls stay on campus last year, so we were able to do some small skill breakdown. And I think it really helped us, because the kids that weren't on campus and the kids that were on campus know that, like, this season, let's not take anything for granted. And I think that they've proven that. I mean, they've come out really strong. I'm extremely proud to be their coach. It's fun to coach this group. They make every day very special.
Speaking here with Gabby Holko, Susquehanna University women's basketball head coach. And for you, like you said, to have to go through all of this and to learn different things and to learn how to stop and take a deep breath. I don't do that a lot. I learned that, and I know that you can echo me on that, I'm sure. But it was so important for me, a healthy mind, healthy body, healthy body, healthy mind, to get out, to walk, to do things, and now that I'm in the swing of things, to say, okay, well, if I'm not doing this, then let's try this. Let's make sure I'm walking a little bit more. If I'm doing a meeting or something like that, let's pace the house. Let's keep my body moving. It's imperative, I think, not only to have learned something during the pandemic, but to continue to learn it after or beyond. And I think that that's really where that's to me where the key is, okay, did you get better the last 19 months? Did you help yourself? Did you get healthier in some way, shape, or form? Now the question becomes, how are you going to continue to stay healthy?
Absolutely. I think that's huge too. I mean, that's something that I would agree with you, and I love cheering you on through the whole pandemic and getting your 10,000 steps a day. And I think that was something that it was good to see because it pushes other people to be able to do something positive like that. I think definitely taking care of your body. I think that's something that we all should have learned during this pandemic is if you're staying healthy, if you're exercising, eating right, your immune system is going to be a little bit better than it would if you were just sitting on the couch being a couch potato. And I think a big thing, like with me, like I said, I really picked up reading again, and it was just to be able to like train my mind a little bit. And I'm so on the go 24/7, just as you just said. I mean, it's always basketball, basketball, basketball. So, and I'm starting to see now that we're in season and I'm watching so much film, I'm kind of going backwards and not reading as much. So just actually said last night, like, I'd like to start reading before bed, just to get in like 10 pages before bed, just to be able to continue what we did during COVID and just continuing to kind of grow my mind a little bit. But I definitely think this has really taught us all how to stop. And I think everybody picking up different hobbies and everybody picking up different crafting ideas and just, I think communicating is something that we all learned during this time. I mean, we weren't able to see each other in person a ton. So you had to learn how to talk on the phone. And that's something that I really hammered home with our recruits. I mean, especially with this class, our freshman class that we have now, is just talking to them on the phone. And that's something funny in itself, is just because a lot of these high school kids don't like to talk on the phone. It's a fright for them. So being able to kind of help them through that process has been great as well. But I think it's nice to see us all back on campus. I mean, we're practicing as normal 6 days a week. Now we're into games, so we're playing games Wednesdays and Saturdays. And it's just nice to see their faces. We don't have to practice with masks because we're doing surveillance testing. So it's just kind of like, I was just talking to my mom about it. Like, we're in our own bubble here at Susquehanna, and it feels like things are normal here. And yeah, we have our cases that pop up, but at the same time, our team has been great. And I think we've been following protocols fantastically. And we've been able to get in 9 games. We're 7-2 right now. So it's a really good experience, and I'm super grateful and super excited to continue this year.
Yeah, and it's incredible to see, everything that you've done at Susquehanna so quickly. I mean, you had one season at Marywood and you demonstrated success there, and then you moved on to Susquehanna and continued that success. What would you attribute to the fact that, you're young in age as a head coach, but I don't want to say young in experience? And I think that when people hear young coach, there might be a negative moniker, but what I'm saying when I say it is you are young in age on this planet, yet you seem to be very good at what you're doing very early on in your head coaching career. What would you attribute to that? I know you're a humble person, but I got to shout you out. I mean, you've done an incredible job, and I told you years ago that I am watching this journey, and I know where you can go, and I'm looking forward to it.
Dan, I appreciate that. I'm smiling over here. Those are really great, kind words. I think the biggest thing for me, and I'm hitting that big 3-0 in January, so I'm getting up there in age. I keep joking about it, but I like to joke with our team as well and say, guys, I'm not that far removed from you, and if you want to try it, let's go out there and I'll put the shoes on and play some practice with you guys and show you what it's all about. And they laugh, of course, because they definitely would sweep me up off and down the floor because I am not in basketball shape anymore. But I think a big thing for me is I'm a hard worker. I've been a hard worker since I was an assistant coach. I started my journey at Misericordia University as a graduate assistant, and that's where you put in the long hours. I mean, I was working 10, 12, 14, and it was just because I wanted to. I wanted to put the hours in to be able to develop this craft of coaching. And I think the biggest thing for me, I'm a sponge. And what I mean by that is I love, love, love having mentors. I love having coaches that have been at this for 20, 30 plus years, coaching and being successful with it. And I love talking. Obviously, I have the gift of gab, but I think a big thing for me is being able to ask questions and being humble in the aspect of, if I don't know something, I'm going to find it, or I'm going to find somebody who knows that answer. A great person to me is Frank Marcinek, who is our men's basketball coach here at Susquehanna University. He's been here 33 years, and I like to say he's like my best friend in our athletic department. As we all know, with basketball coaches, the men and women's basketball coach work really close together. I mean, we're sharing gym time, we're traveling on buses together, and not everybody is grateful to have another head coach with the men's program where you are very close. But I think the feeling is mutual with Frank and I. I mean, I'll go into his office and just say, hey, like, we're about to play a team like this. How would you attack this? Or let me see, we're about to play a zone. Let me see your best zone blobs. And I think he does the same thing for me, where he'll come in and say, hey, like, what do you think about this? Or show me some film of something and ask me my questions. And I think it's a great working relationship. But I think for anybody that's young in this coaching profession is, you have to know that you're not going to know everything. And there's going to be moments where you're going to struggle and you're going to have those doubtful and those stressful moments. But being able to see the positive in everything. And I'm a very positive person. You're not going to see me on many negative days. I mean, maybe if a ref's on my bad side, I'm going to be super negative. But at the same time, I like to see the bright side in things. And I think that if we can just learn to grow and to just be a lifelong learner in this profession, I think that it's going to be a great ride. And another thing that I think a big thing for me is, I guess I would be considered a player's coach. I talk with my kids all the time about just life. We really, I mean, a lot of the time we have a couch in my office and the kids will come in and they'll just sit down and we might not even talk basketball, not 1 minute. I have snacks in my office, Gatorade in my fridge, and I just want them to have a welcoming atmosphere. And I think that really shows, because there's moments where I'm extremely hard on our kids and I hold them to such a high standard that they know that it's respected, and they want that because they know that I'm going to care about them. And if something bad would happen, or if I'm screaming at them 1 minute, then 2 minutes later I'm slapping them on the back and just saying I love you. Like, I think that's a big thing with coaching nowadays, is just making sure that your team knows that it's not just X's and O's. It's not just wins and losses. It's about how they're going to perform in life and how we're going to help them perform in life. And I think that that's like a huge part of my coaching philosophy, is just teaching life through basketball. And I think that that has really helped, because my team knows I care about them and my team cares about me. And I think that we both would go through a brick wall for each other. And I think that that's when you have a lot of success.
Yeah, speaking here with Gabby Holko, Susquehanna University women's basketball head coach, you talk about, being a coach that somebody would run through the wall for, and I know coaches like that, and I've experienced coaches like that, and I think it's, an incredible thing when you have that relationship that goes beyond wins and losses, and they just genuinely, they love you, they trust you. It's about leadership, and I've spoken about leadership on the show here. There's the people that call themselves leaders, and they're the first ones out of the building, first ones to leave, last ones to get there. Maybe they don't show up. And, the higher they get, the less work they do. What can you say about what true leadership is supposed to be? Because when I think of leadership, I think you stay on the ship until everybody else gets off. You're supposed to be the exemplary, piece of what you're asking. If you're going to ask somebody to do something, then you need to live within that. And I believe that true leaders, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this, are the ones that not just say something, but they're willing to do it. I think when a leader tells you to do something that they're not willing to do or put themselves on the line for, the credibility goes away. I think true leadership has to come from when somebody says, hey, this is what I want, and then they actually can demonstrate that.
I would 110% agree with you on that, Dan. I think that there's a lot of people out here, and there's a lot of coaches out here that say they're leaders, but their actions don't speak for that. And I think a big thing is, especially for me, is I'm a huge servant leader. I like to really do for my kids. I like them to see that I'm going to put in the work and I'm going to do for them anything. I mean, I'll be cleaning up the gym. If there's something on the ground, I'm picking it up. And I want them to see that. So if somebody on our team starts to walk past something that's just laying on the ground that's trash, just pick it up. And that's what we do here. A big thing for us, and this is something that I've really kind of gained, especially after being an assistant with Kate Costanzo at Allegheny College. She didn't call her captains. She calls them leaders. And we do a leadership training, and that's something that I have brought on when I was at Marywood and now here at Susquehanna, is we don't call our captains. We call them leaders, because sometimes when you get that captain title, you just think that you can talk down upon everybody, and it's kind of more of a dictatorship, where as a leader, you're teaching them how to be leaders, and we're teaching them how to have those hard conversations. And I think that that's probably the biggest thing with leadership, is knowing how to communicate and knowing your audience. So how you communicate with one teammate is not how you're going to communicate with another teammate. And we work through a leadership training book, and we do a chapter. It's a 10-week kind of thing. We break it up throughout the season, and I have 4 leaders right now, all of which that are seniors, and they are all fantastic, and they all lead in very different ways. We have our leader by example. We have our leader that just puts in the work and is the hardest worker. We have our leader that's super positive and very easy to talk to. And then we have a leader that's also just very knowledgeable, and she is also super positive, but she's going to hold you accountable, and she doesn't have a problem having that conversation with you. And I think by being able to teach these young women how to lead, it's going to really help them in their life when they go into the working force. And you and I both know that going from being a college student to working, there's going to be those moments where you're not going to agree with your coworker. You're not going to agree with your boss. But if you never learned how to have tough conversations, you're really going to struggle out there. And I think that that's something that we really teach with our kids is just being able to have those hard conversations. And a big thing with our program is we love tough, and it's tough love. And that's something that we really kind of hammer home as soon as you're here on campus as a freshman, because it's going to be hard, but you know that it's going to come from a loving background. And we always say nothing's personal. Basketball is not personal. So if a coach is yelling at you about something, don't ever take that personally, because that's you as a basketball player. That's not you as a person. And that's something that we really talk about. But I also think a big thing for me being the head coach of this program, and I have amazing assistant coaches, I have amazing players. I say all the time that I'm never going to ask them to do something that I have not done and or I would not do. And that's something for me that I have learned throughout this coaching process and working under different coaches is just being able to, if you're going to say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. You're going to walk the walk and talk the talk. And that's something for us is I will do stuff that I'm asking my assistants to do still. I mean, I don't just rely on them heavily to do one thing. I still get in the gym and do individual workouts with our kids. I still am a huge scouter. I'm still watching film, breaking down film. But I'm also letting my assistant coaches have those voices. I'm somebody that I say all the time, I'm a feedback person. And I think the best leaders is just being able to have a group of coaches that they don't always agree with you, and they're going to be able to, behind closed doors, challenge you. And I think that that's something that's very special, is being able to be a head coach that can be challenged and can get new ideas from your assistant coach and give them credit where credit is due. I think that that's something that's very special about a true leader.
That coming from Gabby Holko here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Cubal studios. Every time we talk, I always think in the back of my mind, why don't we have 3 hours? And because you say so many things and it opens up so many doors and it's so positive and it's inspiring. And so there's a lot of different places that I can go to, but I know that, you talk about Pittsburgh, and I know that you're a fan of them Steelers.
Oh, God.
So I have to tell you that the lady in my life is a massive Steelers fan.
Okay.
So I am around it all the time. She is done with Ben Roethlisberger. Are you done? And what do you think of the Big Ben saga?
I've been done. It's hilarious. My dad and my nephew just came out to visit this past weekend, and right before he came, obviously last week was a weeknight game, and he's like, "Are you gonna watch the Steelers?" And I said, "No, I'm not." He's like, "Oh, you're a fair weather fan," and I'm like, "No, I just can't put myself through the stress." And it's just, we have the talent. We're playing. I do think Ben. He said that this is going to be his last season as a Pittsburgh Steeler. I mean, I think we all kind of knew it. And it was good. It was something that was inevitable. I mean, he's old. He's one of the biggest bodied quarterbacks. I mean, his body is just broken down. He gave us really great years. And that's something where I'll probably never say like I'm through a player, I'm over a player, because I think as always, I'm a positive thinker. I think about all the positive stuff that they did for us. I mean, yeah. Big Ben came in and he led us to Super Bowls, and he was a very great leader. Yeah, he had his really boneheaded moments and some things that definitely kind of went against his character for sure. But I think that for being a Steelers quarterback, he came in and he did his job. And yes, right now he's just showing his age, and he's showing, I mean, not everybody can be Tom Brady. I mean, he's just a rare specimen. And I think definitely for Ben, it's time to hang it up. And I mean, let's see what else is out there. I'm not a Mason Rudolph fan, so I'm hoping that we are going to get some type of quarterback in the draft. I mean, I was just talking to my dad about it, and I said, what about Pitt's quarterback, Kenny Pickett? I mean, he's a phenomenal quarterback, and my dad's like, I don't think he's going to be on the draft board that long to be able to get him to Pittsburgh. But you never know, so I'm kind of putting that out in the earth, and maybe that'll be something that we can manifest to happen. But I think it's definitely going to be a couple more. It's going to be a building year. They have talent. I mean, Pittsburgh football has always been fantastic, and that's probably by far our best team besides the Pens. We're not even going to talk about the Pirates because they have not been good in about 30 years. So we had one Bucktober in my life, which was good. But I definitely think that the Steelers fans, I mean, we're obviously down right now. And as you said, with the woman in your life, and it's rough because we've always been so good. You know what I mean? So just being able to have those down years, but that's a day in a life. I mean, on any given day, any team can win. So it's definitely bittersweet to see Ben go, but at the same time, I'm excited for what's going to come for the Steelers.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think the older I get, I don't think I know, the older that I get, I'm surrounded by Pittsburgh fans. Between Carrie and Lori and John and Larissa and you, I mean, I feel like the older I'm getting, and it's the thing is, it's the people I care about the most. That's, so I'm finding myself watching more Pittsburgh games than Jacksonville games because they're never on TV when I'm not down there and if they're away and whatnot. So I'm finding myself, I've seen so many Pittsburgh games, but I got to tell you, there's a guy on Pittsburgh that Jacksonville could have gotten, and I prognosticated that they would have drafted him if they didn't have Travis Etienne on the board, and that was Pat Freiermuth. And I got to tell you, if I get a jersey for Pitt right now, it's a Freiermuth one that I would get.
That's something Pittsburgh has always had great tight ends. I mean, you think about Heath and Pat Freiermuth, and I'm blanking on his name. He was there for us the past couple years. But I think, say that again. Ebron, yes. So I think it's awesome. That's like a great position, and Freiermuth has been fantastic for us. We have good young players. I mean, you have Najee Harris, who's been phenomenal. We have Chase, who's been great as well. I'm nervous he's going to probably leave. And then obviously Juju Smith-Schuster, who also was almost going to leave, but he ended up staying and then getting injured. So I think the best thing about Pittsburgh is, and that's just the city that obviously I've grown up in. I was born inner city Pittsburgh, and I lived there all my life practically until I left for college. And city is just a city. I mean, Pittsburgh is just a city of workers. It's blue collar people that are just, they know that they got to put in the work, and they're not going to just sit back and just kind of take handouts. And that's something that I really like about Pittsburgh. But also, I mean, it's something that we're very, I mean, we're sports. We bleed black and gold. But also, it's a happy city. I mean, you go into Pittsburgh, you smile at somebody, and they're going to smile back and say, "Hey, how are you?" Or it's just a very welcoming city. And I say that just because Kay and I obviously will go down to Pittsburgh, and she's just like, why is everybody so happy here? And then we'll go to Philly, where is the city she's been to basically all of her life, and I'm like, why is everybody miserable here? And it's very different. And I think Pittsburgh is just very much so a blue collar town that loves sports. And the best part is when a Steelers or Pens lose, going on, and I don't have a Facebook, but going on Facebook and reading comments on the pages, and everybody's a coach in Pittsburgh. Everybody thinks that they know the best situation, the best lineup to put out there. It's very comical, but I definitely love being from Pittsburgh, and I love going back. Obviously, I don't know if I'll ever be back there full time to live, but it's definitely a great city to be from and to kind of have my roots there.
And I know, I mean, Church Brew Works, and I know a bunch of different places out there. There's some good comic book shops out in Pittsburgh too. But you brought up Kay, and I got to ask you, how are you guys doing? This is a double parter. How is Kay doing? How's life going for her? And has she coerced you into finally making the right decision in your life and take that nasty blue off and put on some orange?
No, absolutely not. She's doing well. Thanks for asking. She is just working a ton, but also not really loving her life with the Philadelphia Eagles. But that's like a lifelong issue. I always say is they win one Super Bowl and Philly thinks that everything's great. And I just sit over here and it's like, all right, just let me know when you get where we're at. But absolutely not. The only orange that I'm wearing is the orange and maroon from Susquehanna University. Obviously, I'm a huge Duke fan. And it's awesome to see them playing right now. They're playing well. Obviously had a couple hiccups down the road, but it's exciting. And obviously we've always met up when we come to the Syracuse Duke game at the Carrier Dome, which is one of my favorite. But this year I don't think that we're going to make it, which I'm super bummed about. But at the same time, she has not changed me to that Syracuse orange.
Fair. I mean, fair enough. I understand. I get it. I'm not okay with it. But, I mean, I was going through my phone and I was kind of just like, getting rid of some stuff, got a ton of stuff on the phone and just taking out some things. And I mean, I'm sifting through and I went back and as I'm going through everything, I found the dome pictures of you and Kay and I of the Syracuse Duke game of a few years ago. And I, genuinely, that was like one of the most fun nights that I had. I loved coming down and, hanging out with you guys after the game, and just seeing you here was kind of surreal because I had always come out to see you at like Marywood and whatnot. So it is an awesome thing. We got to have you back. And I think that for me, my piece is that where you coach, they have orange. They're also called SU. So in a very amazing way, you have orange on and you are an SU fan. So in my world, it's okay because I made it okay. So
exactly. I feel you on that one. It's definitely, I mean, we've watched a lot of the Boeheims. I mean, it's crazy to see Jim Boeheim coaching both of his sons. I think it's awesome. I mean, it's something that I say all the time, like his son that went to Cornell. I mean, he's killing it right now. And it's something that you think like, wow, what if he would have been in the Syracuse system for 4 years with Buddy? You know what I mean? I think it's something special. I can't even imagine doing that, coaching two of your kids at the same time at that level. I think it's really special. So it's exciting to see. Obviously, I'm just a lover of basketball. So watching good basketball is always something that is on in our household. So definitely cool, though, but I will never be a Syracuse fan, so.
Never say never. So, with that, in a final piece here, speaking of basketball, at Susquehanna, like you said, you've started off the season 7-2. You're in the Landmark Conference. A reputable team within this conference, among others, is the University of Scranton. The University of Scranton has found its way into success in the athletic world. And so, looking at the Landmark, looking at what you have coming up, with a 7-2 start, what have you learned about your team? What have you gathered through these first 9 games? And what can you tell me about what's coming up in the Landmark, as I know that you've already gotten a little bit of a taste of it with Elizabethtown?
Yeah, absolutely. So being 9 games in, I think a big thing for us is we really learned so far this year that we can grind out wins. We just played Marywood University, which was probably the best offensive game that we have had. I mean, our graduate student, Erin McQuillan, went 6 of 6 behind the arc, and then her 7th one, she ended up missing, but she only played about, I think it was 14 minutes, and she had 18 points. I mean, it was something very special. The ball was just falling in the hoop for us. We can shoot the ball extremely well when it's falling. But I think a big thing that we've learned, I mean, 2 huge wins early in the season. We had our first win of the season against Johns Hopkins, who's always a fantastic Centennial school. And then we played Stevens Institute of Technology, who's out of the MAC. And they are also a very fantastic team. And I did that on purpose to make our non-conference schedule pretty difficult, because being in the Landmark Conference, every single game is a dogfight. I mean, like you just said, you have the University of Scranton, you have Catholic University, you have Moravian, you have Drew, you have Goucher, you have Juniata. You have all of these teams that Elizabethtown that are they're tough. I mean, it's a dogfight every single game. So if you have a really, as I would call a cupcake, non-conference schedule and you come into the Landmark, it's going to be a long season. So we knew that we needed to make our non-conference season extremely difficult. And we had some bumps on the way. I mean, when we played Stevens, in the second game of the season, I mean, we went down 21 points, and we were down 21 and halfway through the third, and we came back and we clawed back and we ended up winning that game. And I think that's the biggest thing with this group is because we are so leader led. I mean, we have 5 true seniors and a graduate 5th year that has been with our program. I mean, they know what has been through with our program. Susquehanna women's basketball has not been to the Landmark playoffs, and I think it's 6 or 7 years because we only take the top 4 teams of the Landmark. So they know that we have not been there, but we could have been. I mean, my first season here, we missed it by a game, and they knew that our fate was in other hands of other teams, and we had to hope for things to happen that didn't happen. And I think that our seniors now just don't want that to happen, and they're going to do anything in their power to win that. I think, like I said, I've really learned that we can grind it out. I mean, the fourth quarter has been our best quarter of this year so far, as we've been holding teams to 5 to 8 to 9 points in that fourth quarter, and we've been putting up big numbers in the fourth quarter. But we've also really found that, like, we have a lot. I mean, we knew we had a really great freshman class coming in, and I still say all the time, they're still playing like freshmen. They're still learning it. They're still trying to get into our system, and I'm a very big defensively minded coach, so really trying to get them bought in, and it's clicking. It's really starting to click. I mean, we just played Marywood, and the whole half of the third and all of the fourth was I had all freshmen out there, and they were figuring it out. Kenzie Salvaggi is somebody that has gotten big minutes for us, and she finally was able to put the ball in the hoop this past game, and that's something for being a first year, getting those minutes is getting that confidence, and that's something that I think that we are now starting to see out of these first years is the confidence that they're building through the minutes that they're getting, and just being able to just go out there. We all know how to play basketball. They wouldn't be here if they didn't. They wouldn't be here if they weren't talented. But I think definitely we've learned that we are a very gritty team. We'll grind out some wins. And we also learned that early on that we had slow starts. That first quarter was a death for us. And that's something that these past 2 games against LBC and Marywood is we came out really strong and we finished the game through. I would say against LBC, we kind of had a lax in the second quarter, but first, third, and fourth, we played extremely hard. Against Marywood, we played a really great 40-minute game, and that's something we have not done since our first game against Johns Hopkins, and that's something we're super excited about. We are now off right now. We're not allowed to practice at Susquehanna during finals. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week, we have not had practice, so I've been able to get out on the road and see some kids, but we are practicing Thursday, Friday, and then the girls get to go home for Christmas break, and then they have to be back on the 26th because we are heading up to Worcester Poly Institute for a tournament on the 30th and 31st of December. We're facing off against an undefeated Roger Williams University, who is very talented. And then the other 2 teams that are in the tournament, Bates, who is in the top 25, and then WPI, who is also 7-1. So it's gonna be a crazy, hard, challenging tournament to be in, but we are accepting the challenge and we are excited about it. It's going to be nice to just kind of get away, and I'm excited to see what's to come with this team. We have a really, really special group. We have kids that can put the ball in the hoop. They've really, especially our returners, have really bought into the defensive mindset, being able to guard their yard and being able to be communicating, and I think that's something that's special is just this group of seniors is really showing, because we have a large first-year class of 6 kids, is showing them the way. And then we already have 6 commits for our 2022 class. So everything's kind of fallen into place, and I'm really excited. I mean, we start Landmark play back up in January. These games at Worcester Poly Institute are our last non-conference. So that we come back and then play York, who is also I think they are right now 7-1 team, who is now in the MAC right now. But it's going to be a tough stretch right now before we go into Landmark play. But I'm super excited about it. I think we're ready for it. And just kind of letting the girls enjoy the holiday and then coming back and just getting after it. It's business time.
That coming from Gabby Holko, Susquehanna Riverhawks women's basketball head coach. It doesn't matter the team, it's the person, and that's how I look at it. From teams all over the world that we get to talk to, I love talking to the people, and I love getting to know the people. I don't know Susquehanna if not for Gabby, and that's the beauty of it. So shout out to Susquehanna, shout out to PA, shout out to them Steeler fans out there hurting, shout out to them weird Duke fans out there that don't know what the right color is. It's okay to have navy, but you got to have orange with it. So we appreciate you all jokes aside. Gabby, you're awesome. You're incredible. You and I need to have an offline chat and catch up because those mean a lot to me too. So I'll be calling you soon. I thank you for being a part of the show today. I'm incredibly happy with your success. Say hi to Kay for me and the whole family, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and just thank you for all that you do and all the great that you brought to my life since the day I met you. You're one of those positive lights out there, and I have to really, really say thank you for that, because the world needs to know that we shouldn't be afraid to shine our light, and for those that do, we know that sometimes days get hard, so I just want to say thank you once again for all you do.
No, absolutely, Dan, and I thank you too. I think our friendship is something special. I love talking to you and getting on your show and just being that cheerleader in the background, always sharing your stuff. I think that you create a lot of good in this world, and I'm super fortunate to call you a friend. Yes, definitely. Let's catch up soon. And obviously, before we end this call, I got to ask a question. I mean, we gotta end on something crazy.
Yeah.
So our team has been doing a lot of different crazy things this year with social media and trying to figure out just to get some laughs. And our last question that we had from our one of our seniors was asking every kid is, if you could be a flower, what would you be and why? But she was asking it of other teammates. So if you had to say what kind of flower I would be, what would you say?
Oh, man. If I could pick a flower for who you would be and why, I would say, okay, so this is the one I would pick. I know for me, I would pick a carnation because that's my favorite, but or a snapdragon. But I would say, if I had to pick you to be a flower, Gabby, I would say that you would be a hydrangea, because hydrangeas are absolutely they're beautiful, they're prominent, they make themselves known, and so I think the thing about it is the beauty of the work that you do and of the person that you are and the spirit that you have would link to hydrangeas. And no matter how beautiful they are or how successful they are this year, they always come back looking even better the next year. So that's why I would say it.
Oh, Dan, that was good. I didn't think you would have that great of an answer. You are fantastic.
So I think it's only fair that I get to ask one. So let me see here. I'm not going to say a flower, but okay. If you could choose me to be any animal in the world, what animal would you describe me as and why?
Oh, that's easy for me. I would definitely say you would come back as a dog. And you would be a dog because your personality is just that happy personality where every time you walk in a room, you have a smile on your face, and people are excited to see you. They're excited to have conversation with you. I always feel the love with the conversations that we do have, and you're just somebody that is a lover of all people. And I think that most dogs are that way as well. They have a beautiful soul. And I know that you are a lover of dogs, as am I. But I think that would definitely be the animal that you would be, is just because you're loyal, you show your loyalty, but you also show your love really well.
I don't know what else to say. Mom would be proud, I guess. So I don't know what else to say right now, Gabby. That was a fantastic answer. I'm very honored and appreciative. And so with that being said, Gabby's going to join the show every day for the rest of the couple of weeks. So, but no, as always, I thank you so much, and I appreciate it. Thank you for all the positivity and the love. I could feel it over the phone, and I look forward to talking with you soon and catching up. And I just hope that everything continues to go well. Stay safe, stay healthy, and you and I will be talking soon.
Absolutely, Dan. Have a great holiday. I'll talk to you later.
All right, you too. Take care.
Bye.
See you. That coming from Gabby Holko once again on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. What an incredible conversation with an incredible human. So, man, life is good. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break. When we spin back around, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we'll get ready for the Fantasy Football Power Hour. Not one of, not a, but the Fantasy Football Power Hour right after this fast break. So hang out with us here where sports meets life on Wake Up Call, and tune in to this fast break as Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory unveils their newest message to you.
Cafe Cabal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafecubal.com. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond. You can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Here at Progressive Dental, we understand the importance of regular dental visits and preventive care. Cleanings and checkups are essential to good oral health. We have multiple locations in the Southern Tier, so come visit us in Binghamton, Enwell, Kirkwood, Montrose, and Norwich. For self-pay non-insured patients, we offer the Smile Plan, which covers all of your cleanings, x-rays, and exams for an affordable yearly price. Call 607-754-2273 or 607-754-CARE to make an appointment today. For more information, visit our website at progressivedentalny.com.
The Millhouse Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you download their app so you have everything at your fingertips from the Millhouse Market by going to the Google Play or Apple App Store and searching Millhouse Market today. You'll have their entire menu of homemade breads, desserts, quinoa bowls, rice bowls, salads, brick oven pizzas, and sandwiches named after the families that helped to settle today's Pulaski. Ingrained in our community and ingrained in our taste buds. You can find them on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, every Tuesday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sundays from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Make sure you make your way out to the Millhouse Market and enjoy their general store, indoor dining, and drive-up, drive-through window. Grab your food and go. Perfect for Christmas and holiday gifts as well, with their homemade soaps, as well as all of their homemade breads and pastries and whatnot. And, of course, you can find soaps from local companies, syrups, honeys, jewelry, and so much more at the Millhouse Market. Truly a remarkable place with remarkable people on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. With that being stated, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life, we're going to end this video and start a new one on Facebook and YouTube for fantasy football as we do every Wednesday, so follow us back.